Yo, check it out. It's Cool Joe from the Black and Spiritual AF podcast. I just want to let you guys know that we're having this dope ass event on 2/22/22. It's an online event, so you ain't gotta go nowhere. You can get your tickets at bit.ly/MYF2222. Tickets are only $22. If you use the discount code SAF11, all caps, you can save some money on that too. So check out this event. We got a crazy lineup. It's all about manifesting your future. The lineup is crazy. We got people from many different walks of life who have manifested crazy success in their lives. We got a numerologist who's been in the game for 50 years. We got Hollywood writers and actors. We got world-renowned lyricists, spoken word artists. Come on, check out the event. Get your tickets today. What's up, y'all? It's Cool Joe.
And Love, yo.
And today we have an incredible episode with an amazing guest.
Dr. Craig Wright. Woohoo!
One of the foremost authorities on numerology. This guy dropped some real jewels during this episode. You're definitely going to want to listen to the end.
When I say he reads you for filth, he reads you for filth. He knows stuff about you that you didn't tell nobody. He was on here literally reading us.
It's all in the numbers. It's all in the numbers. I ain't got no filth on me, but what I can say is that Love is a thug, but she was about to cry during this
Men
episode.
lie. Women lie. Numbers don't lie.
No, but Dr. Craig Wright's a true thing. Listen to the whole episode, and you'll also learn about a discount that you can get for his services as well.
Yes, a dope discount.
So without further ado, Dr. Craig Wright. Have on the line. Really excited about this.
Yes.
So we have on the line.
So excited.
One of the foremost authorities on numerology.
Yes.
He is a doctor. Dr. Craig. So welcome.
Welcome, Dr. Craig. We are so excited to have you here.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm just trying to contain my excitement, but you guys know how I am. I'm very, very excited about numbers and numerology, and what better person to speak on it than you?
Well, thank you again.
So, could you just share a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into, a little bit about your journey and how you got into numerology and spirituality as well?
Certainly. I pretty much got into spirituality when I started to ask myself those tough questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And what brought me to that space and time was my best friend died of a drug overdose, and I didn't know he was using. This when I was 21 years old, and I'm going to be 71 in May. So this was 50 years ago, 50th anniversary of my awakening, I call it. After that happened, I just was kind of drifting, wondering why I was here, what was I supposed to do. And a few years later, a song came out by Roy Ayers called In Search of the Third Eye. It's on an album. He's throwing a lemon up in the air. called "Everybody Loves the Sunshine." That's the name of the album. And I heard the song, and it was talking about secrets of numbers, secrets of sound, secrets of wisdom will be found. So I was intrigued. I bought the album, read the cover, and discovered the author had read a book. And that book was my introduction to metaphysics. Before then, I didn't give much credence to things of a spiritual nature. I was preparing to become I was studying to be an engineer, preparing to be a pilot in the Navy. I wanted to fly jet aircraft in the Navy. But when that happened, that shifted my paradigm from the outer world to investigating the inner world. I wanted to know why I was here, what was the meaning of life, and if was life so arbitrary, I was through with it. If it was going to be so arbitrary, I was like, take me now. So for the first time in my life, I found myself praying. I didn't know who I was praying to, but I found myself sending into the universe a yearning to understand the meaning of life and my purpose. And the universe responded with that song and that book. It gave me a new perspective on numbers. A totally new spiritual perspective on numbers. And it just awakened me to all the information that was around me that I wasn't aware of.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, that's good. And it seems like, that awakening also helped kind of pull you away from the edge, right? Which,
Yes, it did.
50 years later, looking back on that, we all have these different transformative moments in our lives. Some of us have yet to experience. Some of us have been through 1, 2, or maybe even 3. It seems like that's definitely was a moment for you, that Roy Ayers album, and looking into the book and kind of opening up a broader thinking, like you said, this is all it is. What's the point of it? So.
But what it did for me, Joe, it made me realize, after I was under a great deal of stress and pressure, seeking to understand, it made me realize I wasn't a physical being at all. It made me realize I was a spiritual being having a temporary physical expression. It was the only way it made sense.
You just gave me the chills.
It went from being a tragedy to being the greatest love that a friend can give, to lay down his life. So instead of feeling like, wow, another brother lost to a drug habit, I felt like, okay, we had a contract before I was formed in the womb, and his passing was to awaken me, to change my life, to turn me around. He took one for the team to wake me up. That's how I interpreted it, and I began to seek to change. And I'm still on that path. I still consider myself a student of numerology, a student of life. I'm still unfolding, but I along my path, I picked up this gift, and now I'm sharing it. I find myself in a position now where people were more open and I can share it. During my studies, when this first happened, this was back in the 70s. He passed in 72. The album came out in 76. I didn't go public with my as a professional numerologist until 1988. So I spent a great deal of time in study, and people were kind of rejecting this. They thought I had kind of lost it. So I
can imagine.
had to take it underground, as it were, and continue to study. That was my test. Will I stick with it? Will I continue to study and follow my path so that I would be ready for these times when people are seeking answers and they want to know? So long story short, Joe and Love, my test is now my testimony.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's an inspirational story, if nothing else. And at the same time, I think another key takeaway is that you study, you put the work in, you prepared yourself for this moment, these moments, where we're into a new spiritual awakening. That a lot of people, a lot of younger people and older people are kind of questioning a lot of things that we've just held as doctrine and dogma for so long. Which is kind of why we got into this podcast, because we were starting to notice that as well. So
Well,
yeah,
you
but
both are definitely overcomers. You are
thank you.
definitely overcomers. When you shared with me your birthdays, I saw how Spirit has challenged both of you. The optimism and the joy, love that you express is incredible. And you're going to have that ability to uplift people. If you find someone who's sad or despondent and you share your story with them, they'll feel so ashamed they'll bounce right up. What? And you're that happy? After what you went through? Let me
Wow.
pick myself up. Let me pick myself up and get going.
Wow.
I literally heard that the other day.
And Joe,
I
you
definitely
had
the
and Joe,
other
you
day.
had responsibility in your youth that adults couldn't handle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you guys are overcomers, and it stands out in your gifts. You use your gifts, and now you're together. You are lighting the path. Joe, you're an 8. Love, you're a 3. 8 and 3 is 11. That's the number of light and illumination. So together, you guys are a light in the darkness for many. So I want to applaud you and say congratulations for what you've overcome. Now, Joe, you still have to remember that forgiveness aspect. Now, that's part of it.
Okay.
Eight is karma. 8 means what goes around comes around. So you're going to have to practice forgiveness a lot in this experience.
Yeah.
Remember the story of Joseph, the guy who had a coat of many colors. His
Oh,
brothers
yeah.
threw him in a pit. He was sold into slavery. The guy's wife lied on him. He ended up in prison. But before it was over with, Joseph was a shot caller running Egypt.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I know the story well.
So
You
no
know,
matter what
I grew
happens,
up with that.
it's all working out for your good. So just forgive. Those who are helping you get to where you need to be.
Ashe, thank you for that. It wasn't even on the agenda, but
almost there. You're about to have me crying. You people can't see that side of me.
and it's amazing that you deciphered all this, with no conversation from it, just from the numbers, and that's a testament to who you are and what you've learned, and the fact that you have this deeper understanding of the connectivity of it all, and you're sharing that. I mean, I read your book recently, and it's a guide. I recommend that for
everybody. It's definitely the cheat code. It's definitely the cheat code.
And even after reading it and deciphering the numbers, for myself and ourselves, you just dropped the bomb on it, Doc. You broke it to the level.
I discovered we have a contract.
Yeah, my wife says that all the time.
Contract with our Creator. We're not here by mistake. We have a contract before we're formed in the womb. That's why you see on my sheet the Jeremiah effect. So this told me, if we have a contract before we're formed in the womb, then I'm not a physical being. I'm a spiritual being. I came here for a reason, for a purpose, and the letters in my name reveal my purpose. The numbers in my birthday reveal the tools God gave me, or the gifts to help me achieve that. So by looking at your birthday, I could see your month and your day equals 6. And your month and day, when you add your month and day, it tells you about the first portion of your life. And 6 stands for responsibility. So I'm not a magician. I'm not looking at a crystal ball. When I added 2 plus 4 for your month and day, and that I know that governs the first part of your life, I looked up, I see 6, and 6 is responsibility. I was able to see that you had responsibility early in life. It shows up. I can also see you are a family entrepreneur. You're building for your family's future. And you're going to be able to provide them with income from what the two of you are putting together, what you're building. It's going to continue to feed them. It's just beauty. I just see beauty when I look at your numbers. Joe, you're an old soul. You've been here many times. You may even feel it. Wait a minute. I've done this before. So if you're not vision boarding, I want to strongly recommend it, because you have, as an old soul, you've been gifted with the ability to conceptualize and materialize. Do you understand what I'm saying? As you think it, it is so, my brother. As you think it, it is so. The 26, which is your birth path, is a double 13. 13 is sacred. The pyramids were constructed under the measurement of the 13. All measurements have to be divisible by 13 because it's sacred. And the 26 is 2 times 13. So it's a sacred number of creation, connecting you to forces the rest of us, I can't even say it, the rest of us aren't even aware of. You can really literally bring the power of spirit to the earthly plane. Would have made you a heck of an athlete as well. Running, hiking, jogging, kickboxing. Oh man, I don't want to race with you.
They think they
can play tag in a phone booth.
I do enjoy a little extracurricular activity, but I mean, what you say, it is ringing true with me, on so many different levels, and it's just, they I think it was Jay-Z came up with the line, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't."
Numbers don't lie, my brother. You're going global. You're going global. I don't know if that's the intent, but you guys are going global. I'm not sure who's the writer, because your energy matches so well and blends so well. Maybe you both are, but I'm not sure who's the writer. But whoever's working on that novel, it can make it to the big screen.
Both of us.
I was just talking about that last night.
Praise God. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Wow. Now we're literally just talking about that last night. Just coming up with these different scenes, and it's funny because we even get to the point where we watch movies and TV different, like this is gonna happen or this is what should happen. My wife was talking to me yesterday about deciphering the situation going on.
That's why I couldn't separate it. That's why I couldn't say, well, it's you or it's you. I couldn't say, I don't know who it is, but it's there. It's the divine energy, and that's the global aspect of film. It's universal. It's global. It's you may be a master of different languages yourself. If not, Joe, then be prepared to, whatever you guys do, to translate it into different languages, because it's meant to heal the planet.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. I had a question lined up.
There's no question.
Now,
love
is a number 13. Your name is a number 13. And that is so misunderstood. People think that 13 is a bad luck. People won't go outside on Friday the 13th. Some people think 13 means death. But I say, what is death to the caterpillar is life to the butterfly. We don't die. We're spirits. We're souls. We don't die. We simply transform back to our original state. So the number 13 is a symbol for change, release, and transformation. So when people encounter your energy, they are transformed. They go from being caterpillars to butterflies. You guys can also get involved. The 13, I should say, also gets involved in real estate. Taking the old, making it new. Flipping those houses, renovating them, fixing them out. And taking the old, making it new. I have clients who are 13s who go down to the town dump and get things other people have thrown away and polish it up, buff it up, rework it, and
make
just
it
give it a whole new, a whole new life.
Yeah.
So that's the power. I had mentioned the 13 and in referring to Joseph, the 26. That's 2 13s, but it's in your name too. So you guys are change agents who have the power to transform, and to uplift and to energize the planet. And it's a global energy. The 13 is very, very powerful. That's why the colonists waited until they had 13 colonies before they made their move. They knew they would change, release, transformation. That's the 13. Change, release, transformation. Take the old, make it new.
It's a whole new country.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's great information. And the whole piece about taking the old and making it new is something that we do in our daily lives. From the furniture and decor in our home to, our we got, I don't know if you know this about us, but we have 7 children. So, even the hand-me-down clothes, we put a little remix on them, to make them new.
Awesome.
It's so many different levels of that.
Awesome. That is awesome.
I did have another question. With the accuracy of the way the numbers speak to us, I think something I've noticed is that over the past few years, a lot of people have been gravitating towards astrology. I mean, this year, I've noticed people who previously didn't know what sign they were born under. Now they telling me their sun sign and moon sign, their rising sign, their twerking sign.
It is the age of Aquarius.
The age of Aquarius, right? It's that awakening, right?
Yes,
but
yes.
With that, I guess my question is, how do the two compare, numerology and astrology, and as far as the accuracy? Do people come to you with more? Do people do talk about astrology with people a lot, or is it really just working these numbers and just finding the truth in that?
I specialize in numerology, but there is a connection between both of the sciences because they both deal with the spiritual aspects of life.
Right.
A lot of people are turning to astrology now. They're starting to realize that when they read the book for themselves, it says when God created the planets, it said these will be for signs. It's right there in the book. The guy in the pulpit, I won't mention any names, have been telling us for years, don't read that stuff. It's no good for you.
Right.
But if you do read it for yourself, you'll see that was a whole purpose behind it. As it is above, so it is below. These shall be for signs. I've often asked myself, how wise would the 3 wise men have to be to follow a bright light moving across the sky?
Right.
Anybody, the animals out in the field would have looked up to be amazed by that. No, these guys were astrologers. They were astrologists. They knew where the planets were, and this is where the sciences differ. We both recognize that the spirit enters the flesh, the earthly plane. Numerology is living word. So I look at the letters in your name because the scripture tells me we were created by the word. Words are vibrations. We use letters and numbers as symbols for. So when I look at someone's name and birthday, I'm looking at them literally as though they are the living word. Astrologists, they want to know where the planets are because they know the planets give off energy and vibrations. So depending on where those planets are, when the spirit enters the earthly plane, puts a little tune up on it, a little spin here, a little seasoning here, and that's why they want to know where those planets are, so they know how you're vibrating. Right. So that's what they use, the position of the planets. I literally look at just the letters and numbers, because we are the living word. If you want to study the written word, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and there's many more, the Circle 7. But if you want to study the living word, then I recommend becoming a student of numerology.
Ashe. Even before I personally knew that numerology was a thing, I was always drawn to numbers. I always felt like a real strong connection with it. I didn't know what it was, but I felt it like it's something.
Yeah, it really is. I get folks now, they'll call me, I'm seeing patterns. I'm seeing everywhere I look. It's in my dashboard, it's on my phone. When I get my bill I look at the bill and the receipt number. And people are starting to pay a little more attention. I think the health crisis that we've been having, people have been slowed down and spent a little more time introspecting.
True.
Yeah.
And that has been a factor in the growth as well. So people are starting to take note, and they're looking out, and I'm starting to feel like, okay, it's been worth it. All these years of studying, and I've been prepared now. So it's almost like when they give me opportunity, I know, you probably had a little notes written down, but man, when I have an open ear, this is my chance to share, to share with you what I've learned, what I've studied for, and so you have to cut me off, because I'm going to just keep bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. Your name, Joseph Harvey, makes a great coach. Makes a great coach. You can mold young black boys into men.
Ashe.
Okay, I've been doing that.
You praise God. Awesome. That's your promise. The name is the promise. Joseph, that's your contract. So, okay, God, if you want to give me power, give me double 13s, connected with you as it is above, so it is below, and give me this power of spiritual energy and physical strength, I'm going to be what you want me to be. I'm going to reflect that 8 and be a leader and be a man of faith. That's Harvey. The name Harvey is a 7. Since it's a family name, you're going to have teachers and preachers in the family. Your energy, the 2 that you possess in your month, in your years are 20. 1 plus 9, 8, and 2 is 20. Your month is a 2, the second month. Those 2 2s are a velvet glove over your iron fist. And those 2 2s keep you able to pray about it. Whereas some 34s go out and take things into their own hands. That's all I'm gonna say about that. that's Uncle Harvey somewhere down the line who just get mad about stuff.
And that's so real, Doc, because I've always felt one of my best assets was my ability to step back from a situation and analyze it before making a harsh, drastic reaction. And I feel like I know for a fact other people can't do that or aren't good at that, but I know that's always been one of the things that I feel like has been one of my best superpowers, honestly.
Exactly. That's your gift from God.
Down.
You hit it on the head. That's your gift from God. The numbers in our birthday are gifts from God, our superpowers. We don't have to be like Mike. We can use our own superpowers. And that number 2 energy is what keeps you from doing what Moses did. Moses was a number 8. He lost it. First he snapped somebody, broke somebody, he killed somebody. Then he slammed the 10 commandments down. He was a number 8. 8, there is power. But that 2 energy, that's a velvet glove over your iron fist. You can step back, assess things, and you and when you do express, you're coming across as Joe, lighthearted, cheerful, making people laugh and smile.
All the
But
time.
trust me, the power is still there. And that's the
Absolutely.
molding power for youth. See how I looked at the power of the 8? You're expressing as a 3. If you look at the number 3, it says expression and youth and abundance. So the 8 can mold the youth. This is your transition. You're saying, okay, God, I'm express myself as Joe and use this power to mold the youth. I'm going to use this power to have a radio show. I'm going to use this power to write books, to express myself. And God, the 3 is the story of the abundance aspect, is because when they asked Jesus, why are you here? He says, I'm here that you have abundant life. But the connection to 3 in abundance is 3 wise men, 3 sleeping disciples. His main boy did not on 3 times before the rooster could crow. He was betrayed by 30 pieces of silver, and by golly, he rose on the 3rd day. So in case anybody missed it, it's a story about the number 3. And 3 is abundance. So what does that mean? The universe is going to provide you the resources that you need to do your Father's work. And that's why God told me to tell you, August, it's going to start to flow.
That's exciting.
Before you need, as you need it, it will be there. Don't worry about where it's going to come from or how. But as you need it, it will be there in August. That's when it starts to flow.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
I feel like last year.
For a reason.
That's what I tell him all the time. There's no such thing as coincidence. My favorite thing to say. I was telling him last year that it was August that it was going to happen, but I thought it was last year August.
Awesome.
And some things, August things do. Things do move a little bit in August too. Mm-hmm. Things happen. But the reassurance, man, that's invaluable, Doc.
Absolutely.
That's something that
that's what a lot of my clients say. That's the confirmation I was looking for.
Absolutely.
There's so many voices out there, fear, doubt. You got other people, even people who love you, telling you can't do it,
Mm-hmm.
And you have to weed out all that noise. And that's why, they always say, pray. Put yourself in a closet, turn within, but for those people who are kind of like, technocrats, and I told my daughter once, you have to be still and meditate, dear. She said, I can't sit still. But for people who can't do that, I recommend numerology. If you can add 1 and 1 and get 2, you can be provided with a deep insight into who you are on a metaphysical basis, and it'll bring a richness to your experience that you've never had before.
Wow, I never thought of that aspect of it, but I mean, again, I'm learning more about numerology in this conversation than I have through my entire 40 years, but really, because people do say that, obviously, love is a metaphysician, and she's a medium. So people say all the time, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate, but numerology as a tool to kind of get in tune with your metaphysical, your spiritual self is a great alternative, I guess. Or in addition, it's not only an alternative, because you could meditate and do use numerology as well. But
I've had an opportunity to share with government agencies as an alternative to the Myers-Briggs. Most people get exposed to the Myers-Briggs personality profiler.
Right.
So
and that
I
puts
go
you
in there
in
with
boxes.
the Dr. Craig personality profiler.
There you go.
It gives us some of that ancient Egypt, that Egyptian metaphysics.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's where it comes from, and that's a beautiful thing, that goes back to the power of our people, The power that's innately in us. We just tapping into it, because everybody else tapped into it. They
Exactly.
exploited it. They exploited it and raped it.
The Greeks continue to get credit for everything that they learned from the Africans.
Yep.
The Western culture, they give the credit to the Greeks. But if you talk to the Greeks, they give the credit to the Africans. In my studies, Pythagoras' daddy told him, if you want to learn more about numbers, son, you got to go study with the Egyptian masters. Now, when he came back, they start calling him the father of mathematics. He spent 20 years in study in Egypt.
Right.
Brought it back with him.
Right. He came back to Greece, and he's the smartest guy they ever seen.
Exactly. Right. Yes, they used a written tradition, and in Egypt it was an oral tradition, which was even more challenging because you had to master it. You had to master it. You couldn't write that stuff down. You had to master it.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes from repetition, right? Mastering something comes from repetition and just knowing it. And we're really fortunate to have a master on the line right now. Dr. Craig Wright, man. You're really blowing our minds right now. So it's this is great. So I did want to kind of so we have an event coming up. We spoke about it a little bit. And, we're excited to say that you're going to also be participating in our upcoming virtual event. So that's really exciting, and we'll talk some more about that. But the event, so we chose the date 2/22/22 because it's 22s always have called out to me, and I've done some research, and I see it's a master number, and
we're raising it 22.
It's also the sum of your day and your year. 2 plus 20 is 22, and that's the number I was referring to when I said you had the opportunity to go global. I don't know if you have that chart that I sent you in front of you, but the 22 is called the Master Builder and the Globalist.
Right, yeah.
And it's also the vibration of film, the 22.
One of our kids is a 22.
I'm glad that you're picking up on that vibration, because it's how you're going to spend, I guess, from anywhere from 47 on, 46 on. From age 46 on, you'll be under the 22 energy, starting from age 46 until the end of this experience.
Wow.
And that's the highest of the fours. You're born on the fourth, but you have that 22. It's called a pinnacle. Kicks in at age 46. That's the highest four. 2 plus 2 is 22, and that's the number of manifestation. That's the number of bringing it into physical reality. So it doesn't matter how idealistic people may tell you your dreams are. Under the 22, you will manifest them. In fact, you have to be careful what you think under the 22, because it'll start to manifest almost immediately as you think it.
That's true.
Right.
So be prepared to do a lot of delegating and to get your troops in order.
True.
Because you won't be able to do everything.
Yeah, and that's what we're working on now, getting the troops in order, getting these troops in line. We got a whole army.
Because we don't want you to burn out under a workaholic situation.
He definitely tries to work consistently.
I know the
value.
The 3 comes in for fun. That's where you come. You come in, hold it. We're going to do this. We're going to have some fun. So as Joe, he's leaning more toward your energy, toward the 3, which is fun. But Joe is still thinking, even though he may look like he's having fun, he's still thinking about what he's going to be doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you gotta get them to delegate it because you're the mastermind. Okay, and I'm talking about both of you. Your energy combined is the mastermind. So you're delegating. You do this, you do that, you do this. So if you need to screen them, I can help you with that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you for that. Because that's powerful. Because you know, people will tell you what you want to hear, so they can.
The numbers don't lie.
Right.
But the numbers don't lie. In fact, with my book, you have the tool. But I've been doing it just a little longer. That's all.
Absolutely. You know how to translate it like from a different language to English where we understand it.
Right.
So yes, absolutely. We'll definitely be using you. Absolutely.
And I want to add to again, I want to give you your props for the book. It's a valuable tool that anybody can take advantage of. Can you talk a little bit about that, where people can get it, and how it can be used, for an average person who is seeking a little bit of more information about numerology or a little bit of enlightenment in that area?
Certainly. Where you can get it and be exposed to all the services that I offer is at my website. And it's my name, CraigEWright.com. That's CRAIG, the letter E, WRIGHT.com. But what the book can do, it above that temple in Egypt I was referring to, it says, know thyself. Know thyself. That's the first law. So it can help you discover who you are, why you're here, what your gifts are, talents, skills, abilities, what your challenges are, what you have to watch out for, when you should make your move, when you should hold back. It can also help you with compatibility. So you know who you're working with and you can look beyond the veil. You can't judge a book by a cover, but this will give you the book. It'll be make you very perceptive, and as they say, the numbers don't lie. It can help you in so many different ways. If you can think of it, guys, anything that has numbers or letters, it can give you an insight in. So it can tell you if you're living in the right house, if you're buying the right car, if you're working with the right person. Anything that has letters and numbers, it can give you an insight. If you just add the number, I get a lot of real estate people calling me up. What's this house going to be like? What's this house going to be like? And just basically, you want to stay away from a number 4 house because the 4 stands for work. So if you buy a 4 house, it's going to be something that you don't want to be there. You have to fix and mend. The best houses are 6s or 3s.
That's funny that you say that. I didn't mean to cut you off, though, but it's funny you say that because I just started thinking.
Please cut me off.
No, you can go, man. You can go. But no, I just started thinking about previous addresses that I had in Maryland. And you said 4. I thought when I was living in DC for a while in an old rundown beat up apartment. He had a crummy landlord. I was an undergrad. But the address was 112, so it was 112, which is the 4. And I mean, it was so bad. So this was in the early 2000s, so people still had landlines and stuff. I had to wire my own landline. Like the phone guy came, said he couldn't do it, he couldn't access it. So he left the thing that they use, the phone that they use to tap into the lines. So I learned how to literally wire my own landline in that place. That's how crazy it was. But yeah, that was 112 Elm Street. Yep. That's funny.
A lot of applications.
Yeah. And then even, with those applications, like me looking back at that, that's in the past, something I've been through, but looking back at it and seeing like, wow, again, numbers aren't lying. it's another application, for the information that's in the book. You can look back at things and be like, okay, I made it through this. I did this,
and look forward to things.
and then
Should
look
I move
forward to
here?
things. Yeah,
Yes,
Should I
that's a
buy this
great.
car?
Yes, that's a great. For me, it's a reminder. I wanted to offer your listeners a discount on a forecast. To look ahead, to be prepared for all things. There's a season, and just as I was able to share with you, August was going to be a time of abundance for you. A numerology forecast can share those revelations for others. And what I like to do is anyone who wants to get a 6-month forecast, I'm going to add an additional 6 months for free. Buy 6, get free, and no additional charge. But you have to mention the show.
Hey, make sure y'all mention the show. I would not sleep on that offer.
Definitely.
That's a whole year, y'all.
We'll have all the information.
Get your year together.
We'll have all the information in the show notes and any post that goes out about this as well. Because this is very valuable information. On the personal standpoint, I can say that. Just doing this interview this evening with you, we have we weren't even feeling bad about things. We had a great outlook on things, but now it's even brighter.
Absolutely. It just takes away that little doubt. Like, we know we have a lot, so we have stuff lined up just back, and we're just like, there's no limit. The sky ain't there. We got this. Yeah. But then it's like, ooh, is it too much? But just knowing that we got August to look forward to, and every month leading to August, it's a blessing. Like, it's just a reassurance. I definitely recommend all of y'all check him out.
Definitely.
We were like, while listening, so my experience just listening to all of this, I'm just sitting here like, it's no wow. Like, is it a microphone in here? Like,
you just find that's Alexa. Alexa got all the information.
So listen, like, go ahead and check him out. Like, it's serious. Numbers do not lie.
Yes, just as a composer, just as a musician, uses letters for notes and numbers for timing. The letters in our name and the numbers in our birthday are symbols for the song that we play in the symphony of life. We are God's song, and the longer I sit here and look at these numbers, it's just more I'll hear. More out here.
That's beautiful.
And again,
that's beautiful.
Listeners, 50 years in the game, don't take that for granted. 50 years in the game and really being able to know the meaning behind the numbers on a deeper level. Definitely get a forecast from Dr. Craig Wright. I'm really, I'm at a loss for words right now, and I want to go on talking to you more, but we've been trying to make our podcast shorter.
We get to get
because they tend to get lengthy. People ain't sitting around listening to 2-hour podcast anymore. It's a lot of options out there. But we will have the pleasure of speaking more with Dr. Craig in the future, and you can have your own one-on-one with him if you visit his website.
Mention us so y'all can get that code.
Definitely
get that discount.
And yeah, I forgot what I was about to say.
You over here all giggly.
Right.
You usually the serious one.
Right. I'm usually dropping the one-liner. I'm coming with the jokes. She'd be talking about, different levels of spirituality, and I'm just dropping jokes. I did have one question that I did want to ask of you, Dr. Craig, if you don't mind. It's more of a personal question, honestly. So from reading your book, from kind of seeing you on other podcasts and things, I noticed that you have a lot of references to the Bible, to Scripture. Most of us were raised as Christians, and then we found our awakening and kind of pivoted from there and defined the path that we choose to follow. Some are still defining that path. So I guess my question is, from a spiritual aspect, do you consider yourself a practitioner of any specific belief system, or you just a spirituality person?
I guess he's trying to ask, are you religious or are you spiritual?
Well, not just that, but like, how do you define your own spirituality is more what I'm asking.
An excellent question. I consider myself a universalist. I was blessed to have parents who didn't take me to a particular church. They took me to a place called the Ethical Society. It was an organization founded by a guy named Felix Adler. And when I went there were Jews, Christians, Protestants. And in Sunday school, the teacher took us to all the different churches. So I was exposed to all the different religions.
Wow.
When I began to study, I started to study the Gita, the Quran, the Circle 7, because I was looking for the ties that bind. There are common threads that run through all of them. Even if you study the early religions in Egypt, there's common threads. And as I said, before the death of my friend, I didn't believe in God. I was a technocrat. I studied numbers and science and figures. I thought spirituality was for the weak. But after that awakening, I didn't limit myself. But what I discovered was there was hidden truth in the Scripture, but it had been used by people in different ways. It was used to control people. It was used to prosecute people, to persecute them. But no matter how it was used, it's almost like, you can take a knife, you can stab someone, or you can do surgery with that knife and save someone's life. So I began to discover that a lot of the truths, a lot of information in the Bible was written in code. And there was information in there that could not be taken out. Every time you see the number 40, it rained 40 days and 40 nights. Children of Israel wandered 40 years in the desert. Well, my ears perked. 40, and 4 stands for work and order. We talked about that 4 house, and 0 is a symbol for God. So when you hear the 40, God's doing a new work to establish a new order. He's washing away the old and bringing in something new. So numerology predated the Bible.
Wow.
Right.
Numerology is 4,000 years old. The Bible is 2,000 years old. So the people who wrote the Bible were incorporating knowledge of numbers into the Bible. Moses, for example, wrote the 4th book of the Bible. It's called Numbers. In Psalms 90 verse 12, he writes, teach us to number our days so we can apply our hearts to wisdom. That's what I've been doing with your birthday all night long, numbering your days. So we also find Pythagoras, as I mentioned before, but to do another reference to the Scripture, Abram became Abraham in Egypt. And Jesus continued the practice of changing names after he graduated from the Egyptian mystery schools.
Wow.
They both studied there. Quiet as his pet.
Wow.
And changing the name changes the numerical value of the name, which adds or
he
takes
had a mission for them to accomplish. Exactly.
That's something. That's not nothing. That's definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, That's very
So
deep.
you see, it's a loop. It's a loop. In what goes as Christianity today has African roots.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It has African roots. I remember a film that came out called it was a bird that was looking behind itself. Sankofa.
Sankofa. I didn't see that one. I know the film you're talking about though. I didn't see it though.
It means to look back to know where you're headed. Sounds ridiculous. Sounds like you're trying to drive your car in the rearview mirror. But by looking back and looking at your roots, this is what metaphysicians do. We go back to the roots, the teachings, the spirituality, and then this is going to guide us. And this is what's happening. We've followed along a materialistic path, and we're running along blindly, running into walls, bouncing into stuff, and now people are realizing, hey, we need to turn within.
Sure.
So we can see where we're going with our third eye, that inner vision. As Stevie wanted to put it, inner vision. That's what we need.
Sure.
All around us every day. It's a beautiful thing to see. Well, on that note, Dr. Wright, I want to thank you once again for taking some time out of your day.
We want to thank you.
We want to thank you.
I want to thank you both for giving me the opportunity to share.
I couldn't even imagine this.
Without you guys, I couldn't share it. So thank you.
Sure.
It's no problem. Thank you again. And, so we know your website, drcraigewright.com.
Do you have any social media?
CraigEWright.com. Right. Do you have any social medias? Do you participate in that nonsense?
It's my link tree is I am Dr. Craig. www.lintr.ee/I am Dr. Craig. I want to share one last thing, if I may, before we sign off. Just one more thing I want to share. The number 11 is called the Master of Revelation and the Master Teacher. Jesus was a number 11. Muhammad was a number 11. So 11s are here to enlighten us, to lift our spirits and take us to a new level. And that's the vow total that you get if you add the letters O, which is a 6, and the letter E, which is a 5. 6 and 5 is 11. And that's the vow total for Joe and Love.
Wow.
When you add it together, it's a 22. The master builder and the globalist. So together, you two will enlighten the planet. It's right there.
Sure.
Let's do it.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. You keep choking me up.
That's where
you keep choking me up.
She's a thug. She doesn't cry, dog.
Spiritual. It hits at that level, a cellular level, I think they say.
Yeah.
So I salute you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we salute you.
We salute you.
And again, we want to thank you. We look forward to speaking with you more in the future. We're definitely gonna we're gonna pump the heck out of this particular episode because I feel like this is something that everybody needs in their life. We're lucky to have a pretty decent following, but I definitely hope that you listeners take advantage of the deal that Dr. Craig Wright has laid out there for you. And once again, just thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for being who you are and sharing your gift with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. We'll be talking to you soon.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Yo, check it out. It's Cool Joe from the Black and Spiritual AF podcast. I just want to let you guys know that we're having this dope ass event on 2/22/22. It's an online event, so you ain't got to go nowhere. You can get your tickets at bit.ly/MYF2222. Tickets are only $22. If you use the discount code SAF11, all caps, you can save some money on that too. So check out this event. We got a crazy lineup. It's all about manifesting your future. The lineup is crazy. We got people from many different walks of life who have manifested crazy success in their lives. We got a numerologist who's been in the game for 50 years. We got Hollywood writers and actors. We got world-renowned lyricists, spoken word artists. Come on, check out the event. Get your tickets today.